Hello, everyone, and welcome back to What If. Welcome back to my channel. This is Ouroboros here, and today I have a new What If for you all. Because earlier today I made What If Ghost Rider was Deku's father. So I got an idea of, making people who have, people who have Deku has had many abilities in these many what ifs. However, something I just noticed. There is people who he will have the abilities of, but he will not be related, but they will not make relations to him. So, basically I'm doing the same, that thing here. This is what if Deku was Bill Cipher's son. On part 1. Enjoy, comment, like, subscribe. At the end I'll show you how to comment again if you did not watch my one video all the way through. Anyways, alright, let's get into it. So, we begin at basically the event where Bill Cipher is. This is in the final battle against the Pines, as he basically thinks he's winning, as he is tricked and defeated. However, as he is being defeated, he says garbled words in a backwards message of sorts, which say, AXOLOTL, my time has come to burn. I invoke the ancient power that I may return. As when he says this, he is teleported into a sort of hourglass, which cannot be tricked in any way, shape, or form. Well, I mean, like, by that, well, I'll get there. So, basically, Bill Cipher's confused. Why is he in an hourglass? Shouldn't he be resurrected? As, well, from all of Bill Cipher's exposure from the rift basically being gone, the rift kind of did something different in this one. It exploded in the sky, as it would send basically a massive amount of radiation towards half of the citizens of Gravity Falls, as these people would basically be the first quirk people. As you can probably guess how that will go. 80% of the planet will have quirks, which, fun fact, it is to my knowledge, or at least, that MHA takes place in the year 4021. So yeah, this will be a lot of years later. As back to Bill. Bill then gets a sort of message, as it then says that when the sand of the hourglass is out, he will basically be able to, be free and return back to Earth. However, the problem here is, he is basically, he has to change entirely. Like, actually, truthfully change, and there's no tricking the hourglass. He actually change completely. Well, not completely, but mostly change in order to be free. As Bill Cipher is like, no way. As a century passes, which is 100 years, as he's still in this hourglass, and the sands haven't dropped one bit. As he then basically decides to start trying to get a grasp on his sanity and reality again. Well, not reality. As he tries to basically be kinder, better, nicer, and more polite. as eventually Bill Cipher would, over the years, turn into this nice gentleman who is kind, helps others in need, and is curious about a lot of things. Because take in mind that Gravity Falls started at like 2011 or 12. So yeah, and ended at like 2011 or 12. I cannot remember when Gravity Falls ended, but yeah, the thing about that being is Bill Cipher has been stuck in this hourglass for a very, very, very long time, as he would want to understand a lot more about the world, as his abilities will not work inside this hourglass. Except immortality, of course. As basically, here is all of his abilities. I know it's a buttload of abilities. I do not know what apparition is, or clairvoyance. I'm guessing. Well, I actually have no idea what those two are. Cross-dimensional awareness is kind of like omnipotence. He knows everything, basically, about the fourth wall, reality. If he's in a TV show, video game, he will know. He will understand everything, basically. Intangibility, illusion manipulation, kind of when he was fighting against, I believe, Stanford or Stan Lee, as he would then clone himself, I believe, like 8 or 10 times. That's illusion manipulation. As intangibility, well, basically, phasing. He can make himself extremely less dense, and then extremely dense as, like, you're trying to punch him. Your arm faces through him, then he goes back into physics, and then he becomes solid again as you try to pull your arm, as he then pulls your arm out, as, well, basically, part of your arm is ripped off, as he could then phase out, and basically, yeah. Reality warping, basically what Thanos did in Infinity War, when he turned Groot into cubes and instead of Star-Lord's laser gun shooting lasers, he made it shoot bubbles instead. Teleportation, shape-shifting, nightmare manipulation, precognition, basically Sir Night-Eye's ability. But he can only see things that will happen, as things that will happen in the future, basically. Pyrokinesis, control over fire. Telekinesis, mind, basically controlling things to your mind. Levitation, petrification. No, the levitation allows him to fly. The petrification allows him to turn people into stone and other objects, basically, and other types of solids. And possession, basically, you can rip your consciousness and soul out of your body and take it over. Weirdness attraction, well, that one I don't really understand. It's back to what if. As over time, he would change mostly. Of course, he would still have just a tiny bit of rage left over, which, of course, would allow him to transform, as he would have a mode sort of like this, which this is his battle ready for a fight but kind of taken lax mode, as this would be his ultimate final rage mode. Now, this will only happen as if you were to kill someone extremely important and special to him, as he would then basically try to rip you into atoms, and basically make you wish you never existed. Quite literally. As anyways, Bill Cipher would basically shapeshift into a human form, as he does not know how many years it has been, as he's guessing somewhere between 45 and 60, as he does not know if people will remember him or not, or even know about him. As he then goes over to someone and says, "Excuse me, sir, what year is it?" As the man would then say, 4021, why? As Bill Cipher would then basically scream in his mind, "I have been gone for about almost 2 millennia? Jesus!" As he had been gone for 1,989 years, basically. Somewhere between 86 and 89. 1,986 or 1,989 years. As Bill Cipher would then basically think, "Jeez, a lot has changed, huh?" As he would ask, well, what's happened? As he would then ask the man what has happened to the world, as he would explain quirks, as Bill Cipher would then think, must have been an after effect of the aftermath of Weirdmageddon. Well, that has definitely spiced up the world. Given mortals powers. That means I can use at least one or two of my abilities. As Bill Cipher would then, of course, choose his pyrokinesis and telekinesis, as they were the two most normal quirk-like abilities he could have. As basically, he would then get another message, as it would then say, "Gravity Falls is no longer your domain, but your domain. You may now go around and search for a new one." As Bill Cipher absolutely would. As he then settles on Japan. As it's a beautiful day in Japan, as suddenly, well, yeah, it then gets windy and stormy, as suddenly yellow lightning goes into a sort of rural and untouched area of Japan, where basically he would make a mark of sorts, basically claiming this land as his domain, where he cannot leave. He cannot leave this domain of his. He cannot leave. He cannot explore other places. He cannot step foot off of Japan, as he's basically claimed this land, as he's stuck here. Now, of course, being the good guy that he is now, he would want to be a hero, as he would see that, well, most heroes were in it for money, fame, girls, or some other pathetic reason. Maybe just to be the best. As Bill Cipher would think of things differently, he would want to basically protect people from making the same mistakes as he did, basically from following the wrong paths. As he would basically become a pro-hero. Now, of course, with his All Might-like mentality, except basically times All Might's mentality times 11, because that's basically what Bill Cipher has developed in the long amount of time he's been gone from the Earth. As he would basically be seen as a true beacon of hope and freedom, of peace and justice. As he would, of course, then be, as of course, he would save people who other heroes would just stand around and watch, knowing that they don't have the right quirks for the job. Now, Bill would go in to these types of situations and with just a smile on his face, saying, "I don't care. Air, I'm as he, I don't care. They need to be saved." As Bill Cipher would think that all beings would deserve a chance at life, at least a second chance, even evil ones. As he himself was given a second chance, as he himself will prove that he has changed. As he would then, well, basically be shot up to #1 hero almost instantly after a couple of rescues and fights. As Bill Cipher would not really be the violent type, because, well, he didn't want to go into crap. Thank Jesus. These type of states. As Bill Cipher would not want to die. Pretty much. He can't really die. He's immortal. As he would use his powers for only good. Pretty much. As he would pretty much be the best #1 hero to exist, pretty much. As one day he was walking around as patrolling, as, well, a bank robbery would happen. As he would see that it wasn't really a bank robbery, they kind of exaggerated it on television to, well, basically allure the audience a bit more. As he would then see what appeared to be a teenager, a 23-year-old, stealing from a store because she was poor and had no money. This woman, of course, would be Inko Midoriya. As Bill would then say, "Excuse me, madam, you okay?" As he would see her dealing with, well, financial problems, as she was stealing food from the store to feed herself. As Bill Cipher would then say, his hero name, just Cypher, would be his hero name. As he would say, "Cypher, pleased to meet you." As basically she would then return the things back to the store. As she would shiver in fear, thinking he's going to exterminate her. As he would basically say, "Well, you think I'm going to hurt you or something?" As she would then say, "Why aren't you hurting me or putting me in jail?" As he would then say, "Well, for one, I don't really think that's right. I think all beings should get a second chance." As in his head he would then say, "Just like I did." As this woman would then chuckle and say, well, thanks. As he would say, no problem. But you do look like you're a bit low on fine on money. Would you ma would you mind staying at my home for a couple of, well, how long you how long however long you require to basically get back on your feet? As Inko would accept his generosity. As Bill Cipher would, well, basically use his reality manipulation to create a second bedroom in his house. And he would, well, basically make this bedroom look nice, clean, and already like it had a bed and clothes in it for her. As he was just like, as he would then say, I have two sets of clothes, one for women's, one for men. Uh, sorry if the women's clothes are a bit old-fashioned. As he would chuckle, I'm a bit of a. As he would then think of a lie if he didn't like the old clothes. As he would then say, well, I'm a bit of a collector of old-fashioned things. As he would basically lie. Say this lie. As she would, well, walk into the room as Bill Cipher, basically the only fashion sense he had was back then. So basically the only clothes he had was basically versions of all the main characters from Gravity Falls, main characters and made side characters, mind you, with the addition of them all being for adults. As Inko would basically pick a sort of Wendy / Pacifica type of look. And she would then go downstairs and say, my name is Inko Midoriya. Mr. Cipher. She would then just say, oh please. Oh please, Mr. Cipher was my father's name. You may call me Bill. As he would play that old card, which I'm pretty sure his father was like an original extra cheesy Dorito. As basically his. Okay, this has nothing to do with what if, but Bill's father is like an orange triangle, I believe. Yeah, pretty sure. As Bill, yellow triangle. One of Bill's two or possibly even 3 or 4 brothers was a red triangle. So Bill would be a cool ranch Dorito. Bill's father, extra cheesy nacho. As Bill's brother would be extra spicy. As anyways, back to the what if. As he would basically then say, my name is Bill. Bill Cipher. As he would then say, my quirk is pyrokinesis and telekinesis. As she would then say, what a coincidence. I have telekinesis. Well, weak telekinesis. As he would then say, oh, well, don't worry. As long as you're living here, I'll be able to protect you. Okay? As eventually, over the months, they would this mutual relationship would evolve into friendship, as friendship would evolve into relationship, as relationship would evolve into love. As Bill Cipher would take her on dates, dance with her, basically do millions of things with her all at once. As she would also basically show him clothes of now. As Inko would have. As one day Bill Cipher would pull out a yellow and black ring. A basically yellow and black ring with a green or emeraldish diamond. A green or emerald. A green diamond or basically an emerald in the middle. On top. As she would then say, so, you like it? And he would then say, Inga Midoriya, I basically think you are absolutely beautiful, kind, and, well, would you marry me? As Bill Cipher would enchant this ring. Basically, as long as anything existed, and as long as Bill Cipher existed, which he will always exist, she will never be able to take this ring off. And therefore this ring was also given an enchantment. She will never be able to age. She will basically never age or never get sick, or, well, she will be able to be harmed, but the ring will allow her to regenerate very quickly. As she is basically two-thirds immortal, as she cannot die from aging or sickness, but she can die from too much injury. As the ring would take care of this almost completely by giving her extremely fast regeneration. As she could never take this ring off, basically. Literally, it would not come off. Even if she cut her finger off, her finger would not cut. If she tried to cut her finger off, it would not cut off. If she tried to cut her arm off, her hand off, it would not come off. If she tried to cut off only the section with the ring on it, it would not come off. If she tried to break the ring, it would not break. If she tried to melt the ring, it would not melt. Basically, you get the idea. As Bill Cipher would basically say, will you marry me and be with me forever? As in his mind, he would then whisper, and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Which basically activated the enchantment of the ring. As she would say, yes. As she would hug him and put the ring on almost instantly. As Bill Cipher would then smile. We now do a time skip to a couple of months later. As Inko and, well, Bill would have a child. This child, of course, would be swirling with energy and power. As Bill Cipher would then think, well, looks like I'm a dad. And if he has my abilities, my powers, that would also mean he's immortal, so I wouldn't have to add any enchantments. As they would as he would then see that he indeed has all of his powers and maybe even more than that. However, these would be basically required training as the only ability, or aging, training and aging and learning, as basically right now the only ability unlocked is full immortality. As Bill Cipher would hug the baby boy with a giant smile and grin on his face, as he would then say, as long as I hereby swear, as long as I and your mother exist, that no harm shall ever, ever, ever come to you. And if any harm does, and if anyone dare insult you, be rude to you, or harm you, well, as he would then basically pause time, using his reality manipulation, as he would then turn into this, form for a small pause, 10 seconds, as he would then say, I'll make them wish they had never been born or existed. As Bill Cipher would then go back into his normal form and unpause time. As Bill Cipher's child would then begin giggling and laughing. As Bill Cipher would then basically just smile and thank basically existence for letting him have a second chance. For having a chance to have this. As Bill Cipher would use a sort of ability of his to, check his son's power. As he would see his son could have near infinite abilities. However, they would require aging, training, and learning to unlock, as he was completely immortal, as that was the only one unlocked right now. As he would smile and spin the baby around. My God, I am basically, he would be the happiest dream demon in existence right now. And Bill Cipher would be the happiest dream demon in existence right now. As he would twirl his son around in love of being with him. As we do a time skip to the age of 4. As Izuku would do almost nothing for the most of his childhood, then watch his dad on the news, as he would see his dad change people's perspectives, opinions, and even decisions and choices. As though, even if he did not like it, he would sometimes have to fight. As Izuku Cypher, as Bill had named him, would enjoy watching his father on the TV. And he would also like watching, him battle villains. As he would just giggle with excitement and happiness. As Izuku would then have to go to the quirk doctor, as Bill Cipher would then basically sense a aura coming from his son. It appeared he had turned to the age where he had gotten, 2 abilities. 1, levitation, and 2, pyrokinesis. 1 levitation and 2 telekinesis. As he would smile, thinking, wow, 4 years old and already 3 abilities? This is going to be great. As he would then, basically, one day explain, however, feel bad for Inko, for hiding truth. As he would then tell her, listen, I'm, how do I explain this? Not exactly human. Yeah. As she would then say, what do you mean? As he would then explain that he is a dream demon, and that he was once a bad guy who, well, and that he was once a bad guy, maybe even on the length of a villain, to where he was basically killed. As he would resurrect and change his ways, as she would tell him that was nearly 2,000 years ago. As he would then say, pyrokinesis and telekinesis are 2 of my abilities. As he would then begin levitating, as he would then summon his cane, and, well, begin manipulating reality and showing her a couple of his abilities. As he would then say, a couple of, basically, when our son was born, I checked him with one of my abilities to see basically what abilities he could have and what he would be like in the future. As well, look, as he would write down a list of all the abilities his son had, as he would put either locks near to the ones his son hadn't unlocked yet, or check marks near to the, or basically unlocked locks near to the ones his son had unlocked. As he would say, when he was first born, he was given immortality. Now he is pyrokinesis, and now he is telekinesis and levitation. As Inko would then just hug him and then say, well, why didn't you tell me all of this about your past? As he would then say, I don't understand. I thought you'd run, scream, attack me, hurt me, something like that. Be angry at me. As she would then say, I'm not angry at all. As you said, everyone deserves a second chance. You were given a second chance. So, and you changed your entire perspective on reality. On everything, basically. As he would then, well, smile and say thanks. As he would say, now in order for our son to unlock all of these abilities, there are 3 key things he requires. He requires aging, and basically experience from aging, training, and then learning. So he's going to need at least an Einstein level of IQ. So he may have an Einstein level of IQ by the age of 10. Because, well, as he would then show her all the quantum physics books and things which not even she could understand, and books on things which not even she could understand. And he would then say, Basically, instead of reading our son baby books, I've been reading him these and letting him read these. Basically, teaching him. As she would then think, I mean, what was I expecting? He just told me he was an interdimensional immortal demon with omnipotence. That's extremely intelligent. So why wouldn't he try to make his own son extremely intelligent? As he would then say, also, I kind of created a training room and a training hall. As you know, the training hall from Kung Fu Panda, from the Kung Fu Panda series. Basically, imagine that times 10. That's what Bill Cipher made in his backyard for 4-year-old Izuku. As Izuku would basically be training like freaking Rock Lee over here. Or Saitama, or, well, you get the idea. Basically, he did nothing but train. He trained and trained and trained and trained and trained. Now we do a time skip to the last day of, well, middle school. As Deku would not go to normal middle school, no. Since who his father is, he was basically required to go to a private school. As his son would basically hack into the school via possession. As he would basically decide to give his son the hardest tests in total. He would have all the ability. I mean, basically cross-dimensional. Well, nah. He would have illusion, manipulation, intangibility, reality warping, teleporting, shape-shifting, pyrokinesis, telekinesis, levitation, and petrification. As basically, the sludge villain would jump at him as he would use his intangibility. When the sludge villain grabs him. As he would basically slip out of the sludge almost instantly. Well, actually, instantly. As he would then use levitation to hold the sludge villain in place. Well, no. Now I'm changing it. He would be attacked, and, well, he would not be able to use his abilities because he did not have full grasp over them. As he would then basically hear, a sort of yelling sound saying, "You are about to die." And he'd basically hear a familiar voice saying, "You're about to die." As he would see this behind these, coming at the sludge villain. As, by the way, this form is at least 8 feet tall. So, yeah. As he would then summon 6 fireballs, as he would then start throwing these fireballs at the villain. As he would then be using his, pyrokinesis to incinerate the villain. As he would basically flip back into this state. As he then say, "Izuku, are you okay?" As Izuku would then say, "Yeah, Dad, I'm okay." As he would then say, "Good. Now, what happened here? What happened here?" As, now I know what you're thinking. Didn't he say that he believes all people? Didn't you say believes that all people need a second chance? Yes, but I also said if anyone messes with his family or people he cares about, he will annihilate them. As I said as well, he will make them wish they never existed. As Izuku is at the top of the list of people he loves the most. Inko is second on the list. As basically, Izuku would then say, I was taking a long way home to look at the scenery, and, well, I was attacked by that thing. As Zuko's father, as Bill would then say, go home. Go home, okay? I'll be home for dinner. Just have to finish this patrolling. As Izuku would finish and as Izuku would then get home, as Inko would then say, where's your dad? So, where's your dad? And he would then say, hey mom, dad's out patrolling. He rescued me today. As she was then like, typical Bill. Typical Bill. As then, he would basically sorry, he would then basically Izuku would basically go to his room he would sort of go into a sort of pocket dimension in his own mindscape. As he would go into this place and, well, train. As he would train and learn and train and learn. As Izuku would eventually be far stronger than, well, he was already far stronger than All Might was in his prime. And that means young All Might in his prime. At 100% plus Ultra. Or possibly even beyond 100% plus Ultra. As basically, Izuku cannot help the feeling, but tonight he's being watched. As he shrugs the feeling off and goes to bed. As he would see, as we go outside. Outside, someone looking like this, would be basically spying on Izuku. As they would just be smiling, watching him. Sadistically. Thinking of what would happen thinking about what she would do if someone basically he tried to be Izuku's girlfriend. That wasn't her. She would think of summoning yellow flames and absolutely incinerating and roasting anyone in her path. As this is Willow, and as this woman's name would be Willow. Willow, Anna. Willow Unagi, as Willow would be basically spying on Izuku everywhere, but in public would never really have the chance to speak to him. She was plenty confident, just he was always chased by others because of who his father was, and of course they want money. She would just not want any money at all. After all, her mother was the number 8 hero known as Firecracker, or no, basically Whiplash, as her father was able to basically teleport anywhere. I mean, basically run as fast as light, as wherever he would go, yellow, pure gold flames would follow. As her father had various abilities, but, well, wasn't really confident or strong enough to be in the top 5. So he would be number 8. As she would already be plenty rich. Well, wouldn't really care about money at all. The only thing she would care about was Izuku. And was Izuku. And she would then basically say, while being invisible, yes, she has invisibility. Don't worry, Izuku-kan. I won't let anyone take you away. As she would then transform as she would turn into this type of form with a grin on her face and white and black eyes. Soon one day, hey, he'll be mine, all mine. Mine, 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 mine. Mine, 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 mine. As she would transform back into this normal form. It's getting late. I should probably go home. Well, not without setting a camera up, as she would set a tiny, almost atom-sized camera. Up. And she would then basically teleport. And she would then basically just teleport home. Suzuku would then fall asleep. As this has been part 1 of What If Izuku Midoriya was Bill Cypher's son. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing another part tonight, so enjoy and prepare. Have a good night, and love y'all.